Hey, Shalom. It's your brother Thon. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. Today, we're going to talk about how media is used as a tool of deception, how that goes back to pagan worship. Um, who's in control of the media? Who's the nation that's prophesied to have dominion over that thing? Who's the nation that's prophesied to have dominion over the spell casting in this time? Who's the father of lies? But before we get into all of that, let's just run this clip.
The money, I found that it took me up the levels of a pyramid. Here we are at the bottom level going about our daily lives. Above us is government, people who are given a monopoly on force and use it to tax and control us whether or not we agree. But who controls them? At the next level are the corporations. Many would say that it is now corporations and not nation states that rule the world. They call it a corporatocracy. To acquire the world's resources and control the markets, this corporatocracy must have access to cheap money. The big corporations get their loans at special rates from the big banks, which means that those who control the major banks, the moneyed elite, ultimately control the corporations. As I've followed the money, I've learned that almost everything I once believed about money is simply not true.
All right, so yeah, these devils, they're getting ready to change the format in which that pyramid, works. They're getting ready to transfer it over to a digital currency. Those smaller governments, uh, how it had us, and then at the first portion of the video, it said these are the governments. They have authority to dictate, what's right and wrong by use of force. Um, all the nations, they want to create this new world order to where they're all under kind of one jurisdiction. That's what the elites want, so they can monitor and control everything easier for themselves because they want to be like the Most High. You know, um, you see nations like China and Russia trying to make a backup plans to not dealing with the dollar because they seen what America did to Russia by putting a halt on its USD. So people are making up backup plans, but the dollar, is still strong. But we know eventually when it falls, what's going to be ushered in that digital currency, which is going to be tied to the MOTB, the Karakma. That has to be mentioned every lesson because our people have to be warned not to take it. The so-called Black, Latino, and Native American people. You got to know this is what this devil's getting ready to do. This is what he's going to push on you. All right. And it's something that, you being one of the children of Israel are not supposed to partake of. But regardless of us telling people, 2/3 of our people are going to fall. They're going to fold. They're going to be clunging to this world because that's their lot. And they'll be brought back in the kingdom through the elect of our people, through the cream of the crop, so to speak. All right, but let's read this precept really quick, and then we'll go from there. This is Isaiah 10:1. We're gonna read it in the NLT on the right here. It says, "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges?" All right, who's been given authority to write laws and decrees, which suspiciously are contrary to everything the Lord has written. Okay, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws? They deprive the poor of justice, and our people have been deprived of justice, you know, way before America. But let's just talk here, okay? Um, you see examples even up until this day. You know, a Edomite woman could accuse a so-called black man of something that could clearly not be true, but he's assumed guilty until proven innocent. Many of men have lost their lives. These people who we've been given into their possession by way of the Lord, they've been slaying us nonstop. They have a perpetual hatred towards us. The scriptures even say this. Let me get this really quick. This is Zechariah 11:5. Okay, it reads, "Whose possessors slay them," talking about the children of Israel being possessed by who? The so-called white man. "Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not." Let's go back to that Isaiah 10. All right. Verse 2, they deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people. They prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. What will you do when I punish you, when I send disaster upon you from a distant land? And that primary nation that is going to send disaster upon America is going to be Russia. Okay? To whom will you turn for help? They're not going to have anybody to turn to because remember, the prophecy says that their allies they too are going to turn on them. Where will your treasures be safe? You will stumble along as prisoners, being taken captive, right? Or lie among the dead. They got two options: captivity or death. And then even after they die, when their spirit's brought back, they're going to be in captivity. That's the future for Esau, Edom. That's the future for the chief nation that has afflicted us. Let's read that last part one more time. You will stumble along as prisoners or lie among the dead. That's their future, man. Two options the Lord has given them for all of their wickedness. They're not going to receive mercy for all the evils that they've committed. Okay? When it says woe unto them, that's a promise. They preyed on the nation of Israel, and they're going to be brought to justice because they're not going to be brought to justice in their own society where they profess themselves not guilty. Again, their options are limited, man. They got two options: be taken captive or to be among the dead that die in the judgment and the scourges. Okay? So I got another clip I want to show you guys going into the deception and how they use media and how you won't find the truth, in Esau's mouth. And the tools that he uses to say, hey, this is what's right and wrong, which is his media. And the word, and you look up media, MEDA, it goes back to a Greek god, MEDEA, goes back to a Greek goddess, the goddess of deception. Ain't that something? I found a quick little animation, you know, of the Greek goddess Medea. I'll run it for you guys. Here you go.
I am Medea, a wife, a mother, an enchantress, and a woman contemplating a terrible crime: the murder of my children. Why? The age-old reason: romantic betrayal. My sorcery has helped my husband Jason steal the golden fleece from my father, and in making our escape, I slew my own brother. But now, here in Corinth, Jason has turned to Glauce, daughter of King Creon. The two are to marry, and I, Medea, abandoned by Jason and an exile in a foreign land, am cast into torment, and I seethe. Stronger than a lover's love is a lover's hate. So I will make Jason pay. Let no one think of me as humble or weak or passive. I'd sooner stand in the front line of battle 3 times than suffer childbirth once. King Creon has exiled me with 1 day's grace. Faking good intentions, I prepare a deadly gift for Glauce, a poisoned dress and crown to be presented to her by my sons. Jason's new love will die. But what would hurt more? Losing his sons. Hate is a bottomless cup, and I will pour and pour. A messenger arrives. The plan has worked. Glauce has perished, and her father too, poisoned by a loving embrace. Now, my children, a dark deed, but my judgment cannot check my anger, that which incites the greatest evils humans do. Next to Athens, aided by a gift from my grandfather, Helios, the sun god. As for you, my husband, your life was folly. You'll die like the fool you are. And so ends our sorry story. Yours and mine.
So that's the story of the Greek goddess Medea. And she was a witch, a master of illusions and deception and turning situations into something that it wasn't. And what was interesting is a lot of the things that she did. She was in the spirit of the nigga woman. The scriptures say this. Let me actually pull it up here. Sirach 26, and we'll just start at verse 3. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart set toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. There be three things that mine heart feareth, and the fourth I was sore afraid: the slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation. And I mentioned that example earlier, that the Israelite man, especially here in Babylon, that's one of the that's a thing that you have to watch out for from these women, man. False accusations, because they've been empowered to get away with accusing you of anything, and you'll have to suffer. There's men that have spent rotted away in jail, man, for something they didn't do behind, the hurt feelings or the frustration of a woman. All these are worse than death. Verse 6. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. Now let me read that last part, verse 6, in the GNT. All right. This is Sirach 26 and 6. All right, in the GNT. And it reads, actually I'll start at verse 5. It says, there are four things that scare me: vicious rumors spread around town, a gathering mob, false accusations. These are all worse than death. But a woman jealous of another woman causes a heartache and grief. Her tongue lashes out at everyone. So a woman, our women here, who they've been pushed, monogamy has been pushed on them here in this society in the West. They'll go the lengths that the Medea in that short biopic, they'll go to the lengths that she went to for revenge. They'll withhold the man's children. They may not kill him, but you'll find some wild stories of women doing that too. Dude leaves and he's with another woman. She'll do stuff to the children, trying to get back at the man. A woman that has the mind of the West, she'll do some wild things, man. The scriptures talk about it. But Medea, the pagan goddess, she was a master illusionist. So let's go. I got another clip for you guys that I want to run that kind of touches on that. All right, so let's run that.
Edward George Ruddy died today. Edward George Ruddy was the chairman of the board of the Union Broadcasting Systems, and he died at 11 o'clock this morning of a heart condition, and woe is us. We're in a lot of trouble. So, a rich little man with white hair died. What has that got to do with the price of rice, right? And why is that woe to us? Because you people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now. Because less than 3% of you people read books.
Blessed to see that reader.
Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome goddamn force in the whole godless world. And woe is us if it ever falls into the hands of the wrong people. And that's why woe is us that Edward George Ruddy died. Because this company is now in the hands of CCA, the Communication Corporation of America. There's a new chairman of the board, a man called Frank Hackett, sitting in Mr. Ruddy's office on the 20th floor. And when the 12th largest company in the world controls the most awesome goddamn propaganda force in the whole godless world, who knows what shit will be peddled for truth on this network? So you listen to me. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to God.
Yeah, man. In the scriptures is where you're actually going to find the truth, the 100% truth. You're going to find it with this counsel, the men who have no guile in their mouth, the men who are occupied in prophecy, which is the spirit of Yahweh Shah. Now, in that clip, what he was basically going into is how media has become a god to people. They wholeheartedly believe in it. They rely on it for their sanity, for the understanding of what's going on around them, instead of the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It has become a god. It is idol worship. There's a show called American Gods. If you get the opportunity to watch it, and I wanted to run clips from it, but I don't want to get for strike on my page. But it gives you a beautiful illustration on how idol worship has become modernized. They have different gods in the show, right? One of them is media, one of them is technology, and then they have a goddess of sex. Ishtar's in the show, Astra, basically. They got white Jesus in the show as a god. This is it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope, man. It really gives you a beautiful illustration of how people are still idol worshiping to this day. It's not bowing down in front of a statue. It's attached to a behavior and a state of mind. That's why you have to be renewed. All right, you're cleansed by the renewing of your mind. All right, so let's read this. Psalms 94. We'll start at verse 20. It says what? And we'll read it in the NLT once more. It says, "Can unjust leaders claim that Yahweh is on their side? In this country, they'll lead you to believe that they're built on the principles of God. They don't follow what the scriptures say, but they'll push it out there. Oh, God believes that love is love, and they'll go with that vibration and justify you know alphabetism, and nobody bats an eye because they don't read. They just don't know, or I wouldn't say they don't know. They actually don't care. They don't have a love for righteousness. They actually have a disdain for it. They feel limited by it. They feel like it boxes them in. Well, no, man. Righteousness is a guardrail. It's a guardrail from death. And we're seeing that, as we're coming to the climax of America, to the climax of this society. We're seeing that it is indeed, righteousness is indeed a guardrail from death. All right. Yep, back to it. Can unjust leaders claim that Yahweh is on their side? Leaders whose decrees permit injustice? Because the Lord is all about justice, man. And it's going to be paid for us here. 21. They gang up against the righteous and condemn the innocent to death. And they're getting ready to do that too. Those who are speaking truth, those who are speaking the words of Yahweh Shemi Havashai, they're going to make men offenders for a word. We're getting ready to become the enemies of the state. So know what you're a part of. If you're not really down, you know, you're not going to make it. We're about to be tried at a very, very high level. And you're not going to be able to trust these to make it through. You're going to have to truly walk by faith. All right? Verse 21. They gang up against the righteous and condemn the innocent to death. But the Lord is my fortress. My power is the mighty rock where I hide. God will turn the sins of evil people back on them. And we know who's coming after us, the man of sin. So his sins are going to be brought upon his own head, as promised. He will destroy them for their sins. The Lord our power will destroy them. That's a promise that the Lord will uphold. All right, now let's go to 2 Thessalonians, where we always read 2, and we'll start at verse 7, but we're going to read it in NLT because, oh man, it's dope in the NLT. All right, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. For this lawlessness is already at work secretly, and it will remain secret until the one who is holding it back steps out of the way. The Lord is holding back the destruction, but little bit by little bit, the stage is being set for that great condemnation to take place. And we're seeing it because we've been given the understanding of prophecies. We're occupied in it. So we know, hey man, we're getting close, right? Verse 8, then the man of lawlessness will be revealed. The man of sin is going to be revealed, right? Like it says in the KJV, and then the wicked shall be revealed. And then the man of lawlessness will be revealed, but the Lord Yahweh Shah will kill him with the breath of his mouth, that concentrated fire out of the chariots. That's going to be happening in the midst of Armageddon of World War III, when all the nations are gathered. He's going to make light work of the nations. Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. All right. The Lord Yahweh Shah will kill him with the breath of his mouth and destroy him by the splendor of his coming. That concentrated fire out of the chariot. Verse 9. This man will come to do the work of Satan. And in NLT, it lets you know it's a man. All right. It's a nation of people that are doing the bidding of the left-hand side. This man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power, and signs and miracles. Okay, so his technology, his AI, his media. He will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction, because they refuse to love and accept the truth that would save them. So Yahweh will cause them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe these lies. People are going to wholeheartedly believe this man has the way, that he's morally right. Although deep down in their spirits, they know it's not okay for, a man to cut his rod off and masquerade as a woman, to get in the UFC ring and fight with a woman and break her face, for ageism to be pushed. They know that's not okay. So Yahweh will cause them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe these lies. Verse 12. Then they will be condemned for enjoying evil rather than believing the truth. As for us, we can't help but thank our power for you, dear brothers and sisters, loved by the Lord. And it goes on. But hey, man, there's going to be a remnant that's delivered. That's not going to have this. That's not going to be okay with the vibration that's being pushed in the earth. The scriptures pose the question: Who shall stand against? Who shall stand for me against the evildoers? The evildoers are ruling this world. They're the ones pushing the narrative in everything you see, everywhere you turn. Those who truly believe in the Most High are not going to be okay with it. They're not going to turn a blind eye to it. They're going to stand against it. So, Lord willing, man, with that being said, hopefully the lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.